I'm really fighting an anxiety attack right now. Last night, was, hold on, November the 5th at 8 p.m., literally on the dot, somebody tried to break into our house, and that was the most terrifying experience of my life. This is the second time someone's tried to break into our house when I was alone with our kids. I immediately called 911. It took them 10 minutes to get there. While I was on the phone with the 911 operator, I was messaging my husband on Facebook trying to get him to come home. I can't even express the amount of fear that I experienced in that moment. My kids were in bed. I was sitting on the couch, cuddling with my cat, and out of the absolute blue, I don't even know how to explain what it sounded like. I'm guessing someone tried to kick our door in, because I don't know what else could have been that loud. It literally shook my entire living room 3 times in a row. Bang, bang, bang! Like, incredibly loud. I jumped up off the couch. My cat panicked. Good God, I wish cats could talk, because she would be a great witness. I wish I had been recording at that point in time, but I was just relaxing after I got my kids to bed. I was watching an Animal Crossing YouTube video on my TV, and I've never been so scared in my entire life. I jumped up off the couch, and I immediately started shaking. Shaking like I've never shaken before in my life. It felt like a solid 10 seconds for me to react, but it was probably around 5, which is an eternity. I was so terrified. I didn't scream. I didn't even have a thought other than, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? What do I do? And then after that, I thought, my kids. I have to get to my kids. So I jumped over the couch, and I bolted to the back door. Or not the back door, the back room where my kids were at, which was only about 15 feet away from me. I opened their door, I closed it, hating the fact that there's no way for me to lock that door. And so I open the door, I close it behind me, I sit on the floor and push myself against the door as hard as I can, because I don't know if whoever it is still trying to get into our house. It was then that I thought, I need to call my husband. And then my brain rerouted and said, no, call 911 right now. Call 911. So it took me a solid 5 seconds to call 911, because it was dark in the room, so my facial recognition on my phone wouldn't work, so I had to type in my passcode, which felt like it took an eternity. I called 911. I was frantic. I was in tears. I was like, please get help. Please get help. Somebody's trying to break into my house. So I was on the phone with 911, and the lady that I spoke to was very kind. She was like, it's okay. We're on our way. And every couple of minutes, or every few seconds, she would say, are you guys okay? Do you hear anything? It took the police a solid 10 minutes to get there. the longest 10 minutes of my life. Because I knew that if somebody got into our house, I had no way to defend my children. My 5-year-old daughter was so scared she peed her pants. And while this was happening, about 45 minutes prior to this happening, I had made an order on Instacart for groceries. Because I knew over the next couple of days it was going to be busy and hectic and we weren't going to have time to go to the grocery store. So I decided to make a grocery order. Right before the police got there, literally like a minute, the lady delivered my groceries. The police saw her get in her car and leave. When I opened my door when they got there, they immediately looked at me and said, "It was your grocery delivery." Which was incredibly invalidating, because if I had someone delivering my groceries and I was anticipating someone showing up to knock on my door and deliver my groceries, why would I panic about that? That just makes absolutely no sense. Second of all, there's no way in hell a woman who is simply out to deliver groceries would throw her body at my door 3 times in a row in order to make that loud of a sound just because she's delivering my groceries. There is no possible way someone would do that. There is no possible way the sound that I heard would even occur at all unless someone was trying to enter my home. It shook my entire living room. It wasn't even someone pounding on the door with their fist as hard as they could. It was 10 times louder than that. And that is not an exaggeration. The cops checked around the house, checked under the house. I asked them, please check the abandoned house to the next door. They did that. They said there would be case in the area throughout the night. I don't know if they did, because as soon as I got off the phone with 911, I immediately called my husband and said, get your butt home right now. Someone's trying to break in. Come home right now. Immediately come home right now. And he did. So he came home, we packed our stuff, and I drove 2 hours to Texas, and I'm at my grandmother's house right now. Because this is the second time in the last 6 months that someone has tried to break into my home when my husband is not home. And I cannot deal with it anymore. Not knowing that I'm alone and I have no way to protect my children. It took me 3 hours to calm down. I could not stop sobbing. The only reason I even have makeup on today is because I was just trying to distract myself so that I could battle an anxiety attack and have something else to focus on. After I got my kids to sleep last night, it took me a good hour to not feel I'm still very on edge, but it took me an hour to fall asleep because every sound that I heard in the silence scared me. Literally everything. My aunt knocked on the door today because she was coming to see the kids, and that scared me. It's not like it makes me jump. It's like once I hear it, I just look up from whatever I'm doing and my heart sinks. And I cannot fathom what it would be like to have actually had someone enter my home against my will. All I know is that I never, ever want to feel that helpless ever again. I never want to feel for my children's safety because I don't have a gun, or I don't have a knife, or I don't have a taser, or I literally had nothing other than my phone. That's all I had was my phone. I'm just at such a loss. And I told my husband, I'm sorry, we can't stay here anymore. I can't keep my kids here anymore. It's not safe. And he agreed with me. When I was on my way here last night, I called the police department and I said, in my frenzy, not really frenzy, in my frantic communication with the police officers who obviously didn't believe me, I forgot to tell them that my neighbor across the street has a Ring doorbell camera that's pointed in our general direction. Please check with them to see if they have that footage and if they can see anything, because I don't have cameras. I can't afford to buy cameras for our shitty rental house. And also, they told me that the police officer that made the report simply put down that they think it was the person who delivered my groceries that was banging on my door, when that's literally impossible. I have proof that that is not the case because I called 911 at 8 p.m. exactly. From 8:03 to 8:08, I was messaging my husband, come home, come home. I'm on the phone with 911. Someone's breaking into our house. Come home right now. My groceries were delivered at 8:10 p.m. And I have timestamps of all of that on my phone. I have the phone call, I have the messages on Facebook with my husband, and I have on the Instacart app, it tells me exactly what time my groceries were delivered and what time she left. So it's impossible that that's what happened because she wasn't even there yet. 5 minutes before this happened, I checked my phone and she was over 2 miles away from my house. So unless she was driving 85 miles an hour on roads that only have a 45 mile an hour speed limit, there's literally no way. And she didn't even touch my door when she delivered my groceries. She didn't even knock. I don't know. I do not understand why police officers could look at me in the state that I was in and honestly think that I just panicked because somebody was delivering my groceries. I placed the order. I was the person who was communicating with her about the items that I was purchasing. That just makes no sense at all. So they gave me a phone number to call if I wanted any further investigation. And I called today, and I don't think they're open until Monday. So I don't know what the plan is now. I don't know if we're going to be able to move. We may just be staying back and forth with family until tax season, until we get our income tax so that we can move. But that was the most horrifying experience I've ever had. And I've never been more determined to lose weight, to get fit, to take a self-defense class, to buy a gun, to learn how to protect my children. Because I'll be damned if I ever let that happen again, and I'm unprepared. And I'm honestly very surprised that I didn't cry while talking about this, because I've been anxious and emotional all morning. I'm still in shock. And it's honestly all I can think about right now. I was having flashbacks on the 2-hour drive over here. I'm just horrified. And I really don't know what the plan is, what to do. But I'm at my grandmother's house for now in Texas, 2 hours away from the house. So at least I have the support of my family. But I honestly don't believe that anyone fully grasps how much this has affected me. Of course, they all know and recognize that it was terrifying. But I don't think they know how terrified I still am. Like, I feel like whoever this person is, I feel like they're watching me. I feel like they're in every room that I'm in, watching me. Which I know that's not logical, and that obviously is, that's just an example of how it feels. Like, I don't actually believe that. That's just how it feels. I feel like I'm being stalked by the experience, the emotions of the experience. So I'm trying to cope with that. And I don't know what to do. But anyway, that's where I am right now, and I don't know. I guess I don't really have anything else to say.